An album a day is my exploration into the Korean music scene. This podcast will cover mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provide both factual and opinionated commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own.
4Minute steps into 2016 and gives us one of the best sounding projects out of their entire discography, only for things to come to an abrupt end. Why? Why? Just, I'm looking forward to final thoughts to get a little bit further into it, but let's first talk about this album after the drop.
You're tuned into an album a day. Show start.
On January 20th, and I cannot stress to y'all how many times I've had a hard time saying January 20th. I don't know what's going on with me. On January 20th, 2016, Cube said, okay, everybody listen up. We're formally announcing that 4Minute is getting ready to release their 7th project. It's going to be called Act 7. It's coming out February 1st. Now, the year before, they had a freaking smash with dropping Crazy in February. So they strike while the iron is still hot. Let's keep it rolling. We're even going to collaborate with, this American producer, maybe you heard of him, kind of popular over there in the United States. Goes by the name of Skrillex. What? He's going to be a part of the lead single, which is called Hate. Now, let's just step over to the side. Some of you who have been longtime supporters of the ridiculous content I make know that I love me some Sonny Moore. Mr. Sonny John Moore, professionally known as Skrillex. Skrills is very, very inspiring to me as a music producer. He stays on the edge of developing unique sounds, literally unique sounds. Like he is the reason that Transformers have the sounds that they have. And I'm not talking about Transformers in terms of large machines in an appropriate sized factory. I'm talking about the Hasbro little action figures from the movies. More specifically, he's the reason the Dinobots sound the way they sound in the films. Like, I can't, oh my God, I'm fangirling. Oh, he's just so lit. He is just known for EDM, dubstep, his electro house. He does a lot of post-hardcore. He even does bro step. Like, come on now. It's very, very inspiring to me. So this was huge that they were going to do something with such a dynamically different from their sound producer. So they get ready. Anticipation is high. We see the teasers. They got the red bandanas and whatnot. We will talk about that later. But they go ahead and release the album. It's the last release from them. Nobody knew that at the time. Perhaps maybe they did. I'm going to speculate a little bit about that when we do final thoughts. But it's basically an 18-minute project. And it is so well put together that it's almost abrupt how it ends. The lead single was Hate. And then April 15th, they released Canvas as the follow-up. And there's not a lot of tracks on here. You have Hate, No Love, Blind, Canvas, and then you have the instrumental of Hate, which I'm so grateful that they put the instrumental on here so that people can actually hear the nuances of Skrill's production. Like, Skrillex has his dirty sprites, his little electric noises and things that you hear, his animals, his monsters, if you will. And at first listen, you don't really notice it because you're listening to the lyrics from the women singing, or at least the sounds that they're making if you're not inclined to understand the language. So you're missing the moments where his monsters show up. And it's just, it was nice to close it that way. But it also sucks to close it that way. It really does. Because this was well put together. As I was saying earlier on, this album had contributions from almost all the ladies. Hyuna had her hand involved in the first track, the second track, the third track. So him, like, it's, I don't say it like a whole bunch of times. It sounds phenomenal. Let me better clarify what I'm saying when I say that it sounds phenomenal. It's current in terms of production styles. There's no inconsistency with one song being louder than the other, or at least appearing as such. They've been pretty particular about maintaining a good sound quality. But the delivery of it all, there's absolutely no reason to skip anything. One song flows right into the other very well. Even Hate, which is a song I'm not a huge fan of. I'm genuinely not. But just the way that it ends and then it topples itself right into the next track, No Love, it makes sense. It's just good. It's well put together. I've said it several times now. It sounds ridiculous and redundant, but it really is true. So they wanted to give something that complemented where they are in their careers at this point. They're all most certainly grown in 2016. We've been establishing that one project after another. And they always had an aspect to them anyway that was dance music and whatnot. But this album, remember how we've talked in past episodes that the genre is classified as K-pop sometimes. Even more interestingly, I was a panelist in an online presentation very recently, and one of the artists who was featured in it made a comment, okay, so what is K-pop? Is it a sound? Because if so, all right. This album isn't listed as K-pop. The genre for this one is straight pop and R&B. And I don't know if that allowed them in some unconscious way to rip themselves from the mold, to allow them the freedom to re-establish and innovate. I'm not certain. I don't know. I could be looking way too deep into something that ain't even that doggone deep. But it's more, it fit. Like the EDM fit. EDM fit for them. It wasn't as so much boots and cats and dance. It wasn't all of that. It just felt appropriate. It felt age appropriate for them. It really did. And then there's also this undercurrent of, I want to say disappointment. Now, I don't know if this is because evidently this is 2020. I'm fully aware of them no longer being a group. I was aware when it was occurring because I was impacted by it. I'm like, oh, snap, what's going on? When they disbanded, when they announced it, June 13th, 2016, this was just a few months after this album released, it was said that they were having contract expirations, which is factual, but there was just no consistency with agreeing on what the next step would be for the entire group, with the exception of Hyuna. Hyuna was the only one renewing her contract with the management agency, and quite honestly, both on a professional side and a fan side, Cube built itself heavily on her back. Big time it did. I don't know if they were able to just strike something with her that was favorable, or if they had something like, look, if you leave, we gonna make sure that you can't do nothing at all. And ultimately, eventually, it became a thing of her leaving anyway. But I'm going to get more into it in final thoughts. I want you to show up for final thoughts because a lot of my other opinions are impacting just giving you a review. You've heard that I'm elated about the album. I feel like it was a good album. I feel like it had an undercurrent of disappointment in it. The lyrics weren't as hard hitting as they could be, but I don't think it was necessary. The women had stepped into a position where that part wasn't necessary no more. It wasn't nothing else to prove. There was nothing left to prove. They had never quite improved upon their vocal strengths. They have a sound. It is what it is. And then it was just done. It just ended. So for this album, K-pop fans, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being essential listening and 1 not worth mentioning, the A3-Day ranking on this album is a 5. And we're going to give you the full discography ranking and the final thoughts, and then I'm gonna just ramble. I'm gonna just go on in all the directions that my brain is withholding, because I don't know anyone else who has had episodes as long as them in a while, because I'm sitting on the cusp of wanting to say some stuff. We'll get into it soon. I hope you're ready for it. I know I am. That's gonna kick off real soon. So I'll catch you in that episode. Bye, y'all.
Your favorite foreign Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z. There's sponsored ads and social media hashtags, but this show is truly supported by the efforts of my Migualas, the most amazing fan base a little entertainer could ever have. Special shout out to my Patreon patrons, the student body, and the scholars who keep my vision of becoming your favorite Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z a real thing. If you're interested in supporting the growth of this podcast and supporting content, please visit patreon.com/multifacetedacg. And for as little as $1 a month, you can get in on the magic too. Interested in continuing your support at the free $99 price? I love you for it. You can still engage with the show when you retweet, repost, and share the show and use hashtag A3 and the word DAY. You can also tag MULTIFACETEDACG to get my attention. And if you're listening to this podcast on a platform other than Anchor.fm, please leave a few stars or a review to keep things growing in the right direction.